Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel is Finding Value. We're going to go over uranium, do our technical analysis daily update. This is just my financial opinion. Do not use it as advice. And we're going to jump right in to do some technical analysis and give you my opinion here. So here we go. So here's uranium, the price of uranium itself. We were down a little bit today, flat to down. This little tip here. But overall, the trend is moving on up. Looks fantastic on a medium to short-term basis. We just have a little bit of a sell-off today. And it correlates, the uranium price correlates obviously with the mining companies. Here's URNM. And what I'm looking at is I'm looking at the candlesticks and what they're doing. The candlesticks are each trading day. We came up with some good buying pressure. We contracted where the opening and closing price came together, which means that the buyers are starting to equal the sellers. And you can see the momentum got lost, and we're coming back down. Now is the time to see what happens. We've got this trend line that's coming through here. We're probably going to do a little bit of a back test. I'm looking for another small down day tomorrow or buying pressure, either one. So usually this pattern kind of plays out. It comes up, contracts, you get like 2 down days, and then you get a move higher. Like a bullish engulfing pattern, which is this pattern right here, a bullish engulfing, which means there's statistical probability that it's going to go up. So we came down, popped higher, came down, popped higher. And then if you notice, when you look at this move is bigger than this move, which will hopefully be bigger than this move here. I want to see a contraction overall. And if you were to kind of draw this, it would just be this move here. It's this move. And then this move is a smaller move. And what I'm proposing is that this move, it'll probably be something small like this. And what this is showing us is that the sellers are getting tired. It's boom, it came down with momentum, buyers popped it higher. Boom, it came down with momentum, buyers popped it higher. Boom, they're getting tired. And then I want to see this change and move on up. We already broke this downtrend here. So I'm evaluating selling pressure and momentum versus buying pressure and momentum. And I'm seeing the shift of the buyers gaining more control than the sellers over time because of the distances moved with the selling pressure versus the buying pressure. And I bet you we'll have a small down day tomorrow, or maybe we head on up very, very soon. So maybe next couple days is what I'm looking for, trading days. But that's what the pressure looks like to the downside. The buying pressure is starting to come in and overwhelm the sellers, and the sellers are basically leaking out. So this is sellers leaking out. And then we'll probably, we're bouncing sideways, just like I thought we were. And I'd like to see the buyer step in and push it higher at any point. Now, this is going to be very similar to every single chart that we look at in the uranium sector. The sell-off, move up, the sell-off, move up. The sell-off is going to be really small and short, I think. We might have one more down day, or a revert. We might have another down day and a reversal day, or another reversal day next. We'll see what happens tomorrow. And we're seeing that across the board. Selling pressure up, selling pressure up. We might see a little bit less, a down day tomorrow or something, and then boom, I'd like to see it punch higher. And hopefully it plays out like that. Fission uranium, we got it's right there at the top kind of its pattern. I'll throw it in here since I forgot to throw it in. But there's the pattern that I'm looking at. Right about, it's somewhere in there. It's right at the top of this downtrend line. Looking to try to break up. Denison Mines, again, I'm just looking at the candlesticks over here. Not too much selling pressure, so it looks pretty good. We'll see what tomorrow brings us. UUUU, again, the selling pressure is really light. It's not a huge down day. I don't see the selling pressure blowing this to the downside, so it still looks good. Fission uranium looks like we got a little bit more selling pressure here. We might head lower a little bit. Canalaska broke out of its little trend here, it popped higher. I bet you we'll see a down day or two and then move on up. That's what I'm hoping for. Standard uranium, a little bit of a down day. We'll see if it pulls back. Not too much to really say here. Base load's looking pretty good. We've got a nice move higher, and we're just kind of dilly-dallying sideways here before I think the buyers step in. And if uranium goes on up, the price of uranium, I think this will follow suit. Deep yellow's got a little pattern here. Sometimes they can go a little bit lower. It's not a very big pattern though, so it's not too big of a deal here. Pattern looks like that. I can just see it without even putting lines in. Sometimes I forget to put the lines in because I see it, and I bet you we'll see like a one down day, and then maybe we pop higher. That's my guess. Bannerman, I'm just looking at these up days here. Still looks good for a move higher until the sellers step in, or if the buyers step in, we continue higher. But the sellers aren't really doing anything convincing here, in my opinion. Buyers are in control. Goviax, this thing's just been fighting down here. It's all over the place. Big hammer here, another inverted hammer, another hammer, kind of coming on up. We got to break out of this area through here. It's all congestion. A lot of congestion everywhere in this pullback here. Global Atomic, we still haven't broken the downtrend line. Sorry for not putting it in here, guys. Just doing all this. There's the trend line there. Trying to break through it, I think it's pausing here on the 50-day, resting to get some muster, to muster enough strength to break through this trend line. Hopefully that happens. Peninsula, again, this thing, it's got a downtrend line that it's trying to break in general. It's somewhere in that range there. It's trying to break through it. Haven't broken through it yet. Give it some time. Uranium Royalty Corp, nice little, this is kind of a big down day here. We'll see what happens tomorrow. There's a lot of support in this area in the 230-ish range. A lot of support. So I like Uranium Royalty Corp. And if we see strength in the uranium price, I think this is going to obviously head higher. But it's been doing its dance. This is all a pullback here. I think we kind of ended like almost the fifth wave somewhere in here. And we're kind of doing this pullback. We go up and over. I think we'll eventually get out of this sideways motion at some point and hopefully head higher. Especially if the price of uranium heads higher, I think this will all move on up. UEC coming on down. Looks pretty good. We had nice 3 days pop higher, 2 down days. Like to see what happens tomorrow. Could be a nice big bullish engulfing or a pattern that's saying we're going to move on up. And I'll let you know tomorrow what it looks like. UEXCF, I still think the sellers are up here. That's why we have all these wicks at the top. It's not finishing strong where you've got a bunch of buyers just overwhelming the sellers where it's just going to blow through here. It could. That's why I stay in the stocks, because remember, this is only statistical probabilities. It's not for sure outcomes. And I would not take this as for sure outcomes. But whenever you have wicks on the top, it usually wants to pull back a day or two. We also have some sellers from over here, a lot of buyers and sellers all through this area all in here. So it's got to get through this sticky 30-cent area before I think we can start making some good headway. And always keep this in mind. This is only statistical probabilities. It is not for sure outcomes. I don't want to hear anyone in the comment section say, Andy, you said it was going to go higher. That is a statistical probability. It may only be 50, 60% accurate on the very short term here. Big long-term pictures, more accurate. Short-term pictures, anything can push this stuff in any direction. News can move it all over the place. Short-term emotions, the overall market. There's a whole bunch of factors that can influence the short-term direction of these things. So we are only dealing with statistical probability. So we can find good entry points. We can look at the things from a medium-term perspective and find good entry points for adding more money in. But I would not use the day-to-day stuff. And remember, day traders get slaughtered for the most part. I think 80 or 90% of day traders, they never go anywhere. They just lose a bunch of money. They bleed it, and then they owe some bank that they borrowed money from. They owe it all back. So on the short term, and one of the reasons why I don't short-term trade, even though I probably maybe can read charts a little bit better than most people, But I don't short-term trade because of the statistical probabilities. I'd rather take the big long-term bets where it's going to make me a bunch of money. Now, short-term here, some are looking like they're turning around, ready to go up. Others look like they might have another day or two to pull back. We've got a mixed bag here. I can't tell you exactly what's going to happen tomorrow with any good certainty, but some of them look like they may put in a down day or two, potentially tomorrow. The overall energy sector in oil is pulling back, but natural gas shot higher. It was up like 8% today. Today it was up 8% in one day. A massive move higher, and I think we're probably breaking out of a very long-term trend, downtrend line in natural gas. So it's a mixed bag over there as well. Natural gas higher, oil kind of flat to lower. It broke its uptrend. So if uranium's trading very close to oil, I think we're going to kind of relax a little bit. If uranium's trading more like natural gas, I mean, the thing looked like it launched today. So I'm curious to see what the next week or two brings us. Are we going to head higher? Anyone's guess. But I'm positioned. I'm ready to ride it higher. I'm in the companies, and I'm continuing to cost average in. That's my plan and strategy. I'm not so worried about the necessary short term, but I think it another couple down days, and then I think we'll see what happens if the buyers step in. We could see some pretty fun times if they step in. If they don't step in and the overall market kind of deteriorates, we see dollar strength. I think we're going to see dollar weakness next day or two. But if we do see dollar strength, it could put a damper on a lot of the commodity moves. Hopefully you guys like this content. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you like what you're hearing. And thank you for listening. This is Finding Value.